get overwhelmed on the road. I've always said this in college football. Outside of your great teams, Ohio State last year lost at Oregon, but they weren't overwhelmed, and Oregon was a good team. But most of the time, a college football team that's not a top 3 or 4 team, they go on the road, you get a different team. College basketball, different team. In the NBA, if you have a veteran team, I remember a few years ago in the finals, Warriors went in and stole one in Boston. The Celtics were a younger team. It's just not that big of a deal. Boston now is a veteran team. There's no other way to classify them. Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Al Horford, Derek White. It's a veteran team. So home and road's not really a thing, but to be that good on the road is pretty remarkable. I'm trying to wrap my arms around why they're not a more dominant home team. We know Boston is one of the more intimidating crowds. We know every game's a sellout. Does this team play with a certain level of anxiety at home? Do they take their foot off the gas at home? I don't know what it is, but I do think the team is a really close unit. And I think that kind of community and collaborative, we all know Boston's sometimes to a fault, super collaborative. We wish Jason Tatum was more selfish. So maybe that kind of unified spirit, I've compared them to the Warriors a little bit, where you have a lot of shooters, a lot of guys that are smart, they get along. Young guys don't necessarily fit in these Celtics or those Warriors. They're really close. And there's a certain unity that bonds on the road, and maybe they just take their foot off the gas at home. I can't explain it. But, and the Knicks, by the way, are not great at home either. 1-3, and the New York crowd is fantastic. So the Knicks this year are 1-3 at home in the postseason. So I don't know what to make of it. I will say this, that Boston's got better players, and Peyton Pritchard's a great example. At one point, Peyton Pritchard had 27 points in 23 minutes. And, another guy that spent some years in college and has come out and been an incredibly viable player. And, I watched Cleveland dispose. Cleveland now is at full strength. And boy, Indiana struggled to stop them. Everybody this year struggled to stop Cleveland when they were at full strength. So now you look at that series differently. That thing wasn't competitive. The Pacers could not make stops. So, all of a sudden now the cream rises over the last 24 hours with the Cavaliers and the Celtics. It has been a very unique postseason where underdogs have done well and road teams have done well. I think that's great for the league. I still don't know what to do with the Denver OKC series. I said this walking around my neighborhood this morning, is that OKC is like Boston, brilliantly constructed. Sam Presti, great GM. Boston, between Ainge and Stevens, a brilliantly constructed team. But if you're telling me, I'm not so sure. I could argue if you just gave me every starting five in the NBA and said, all right, let's play 5 minutes, I'd take Denver. I get Jokic. Murray offensively can be an exceptional playoff player. Aaron Gordon I've loved for years. He now can suddenly hit threes. So, these playoffs have been just so dramatic. I think the one team we're all kind of confused with is Denver. When the line and the odds came out for OKC Denver, it was so disrespectful to the Nuggets. It's like, what are we doing here? Basically in the league, we all know who's good. We know Boston's good. We know OKC's good. We know Cleveland's good. I think Denver's good. And I don't think the odds makers do. And I will remind everybody that if you have the world's best player surrounded by really good players, history tells you will prevail, usually at least getting to the conference finals. So I think Oklahoma City, with a deeper roster, is built to win a long series. I think they'll bounce back, and I think they'll win Game 4 in Denver. That's my guess. They led the entire game last night. But when you watch all these playoffs, I think there's an understanding of who the really good teams are in the NBA. And we don't put the Knicks in that class. And that's not a knock on them. I think the Knicks have benefited greatly from the way the games have been officiated. OG is just a big dog. He's a big pro athlete. And, the Knicks have Mitchell Robinson and really good defenders, and even their best scorer, Brunson, who again was good today, he's tough. He's just a tough physical Villanova guy. So I think that the benefit the Knicks have is that this is not regular season basketball where the Knicks really struggled against deep and excellent offensive teams like Cleveland, OKC, and Boston. The Knicks really struggled. Now the NBA is allowing these playoff games to get muddy and to get grabby and to get physical, and that really benefits the Knicks. So my guess is the Celtics come out in a much closer game 4 and even the series. Then it goes back to Boston. Boston's the better team. I mean, at one point, the Celtics, they're hot and cold on threes. At one point, they were 12 for 19 on threes. The one advantage playing Boston is that you don't commit a ton of fouls because Boston doesn't get to the free throw line. The Knicks only committed 16 fouls. That's not about officiating. Boston shoots threes. So the good news for New York is their rugged physical players shouldn't get in a ton of foul trouble because very rarely does Boston attack the basket. And so, you got Mikal Bridges, who plays a lot of minutes and never misses games, and you got Jalen Brunson, who's a workhorse and a warrior. So, I mean, this isn't a series where New York's going to worry about, ticky-tack fouls and being physical. The referees are allowing this series to go right into New York's hands, but they're not as gifted offensively, and you really saw it today. Every time felt like he got close, Tatum hit a 3, Horford hit a 3, Pritchard hit another 3. It was a real mismatch, like it was when they played during the regular season. So I think the playoffs have been really good and really fun. And my guess is tonight, without Steph going back home, the Warriors and the T-Wolves have a really, really good basketball game. I don't know if it's must watch. It'll be a very entertaining watch. It will have to be low scoring or Golden State's got no shot because the dexterity and the size and the options you have. Minnesota's got a really good roster. The other night you're watching Golden State play 14 guys. It's not a symphony. It's not an orchestra without Steph Curry. It's just kind of whoever's hot. Give it to Jimmy Butler. Cross your fingers on Buddy Hield. This team offensively, just not the same team. They play a different style. I said it's like open mic night. Who's got the best material? Who's hot? Get them the ball. That's not the ecosystem when Steph is playing. So I think we'll have a close game tonight. I would probably take the T-Wolves. Ant Edwards has to perform better. I would take the T-Wolves tonight to beat Golden State in a really, really close game out west. This really has become, I'll read you a stat, a make or miss league on three-pointers. It's hard when I know fans want to complain about officiating, but Boston doesn't get to the free throw line, right? They settle for threes. So you can complain. The NBA wants Boston in the final. Why don't they get to the free throw line? They jack up threes. Before Jimmy Butler, Warriors never got to the free throw line with Steph. So the three-point avalanche.
Vô của anh không? Vô không? Có hay là không? Không. Anh kia này không yêu rồi này. Cái nhạc này kia này. Nhìn bánh mì ngon chưa? Bánh mì ấy, bánh mì. Ba tê, nó đấy cứ là bánh mì đó. Bánh mì á. Ba tê. Ba tê. Bánh mì kẹp. Bánh mì kẹp. Chư bát giới. Bát giới. Bát giới. Chư bát giới. Bát giới. Nó không nói được. Đúng rồi, bát giới, đúng rồi, bát giới. Cô anh xấu. Nhưng mà cô anh bát giới. Nó không nói được. Nó mà mở nói đây. Nó nói mà nhưng mà nó không nói kỹ. Bát giới. Không phải. Bát. Đúng rồi, đây này, bát giới đây này. Lão trừ đấy. Lão trừ. Lão trừ. Lão trừ đang được. Quay như nào? Quay xinh đẹp. Lên. Nói nhàng liền. Ra thô bố nghe chứ không học kìa. Bố đi. Chứ không học ở đâu.
Nam Mô.
Chín trời. Người như cái bà chín được cưng. Ta